Okay, so we want to get started using the Curipod STAAR content. So to do that, first of all, I will explain to you how to find it and then how to use it. So if we are logged into Curipod and go to our home page here, we can find all of our customizable lessons. And if we click on STAAR Prep, we can scroll through here and see the RLA content, in Spanish, social studies, science, math. But to use this, before I go into using this, I want to explain a little bit about what a customizable lesson in Curipod is. So as you see, we have a variety of customizable lessons, and to understand what it is, I think it's first nice to understand what a lesson in Curipod is. So if I click Create Lesson, we come into this slide editor. And Curipod is an interactive presentation tool. So think about Curipod in the family of Nearpod and Peerdeck. And in this slide deck generator, you can build your own lessons. So you can click Add New, and we can add a content slide and write something in it. Or we can add more and add an activity slide, like an open question or a poll. So here you could build out your own lessons. And if you want to use them with your students to be interactive, I'll click Present. And then I'll have my students join in with a pin code, and we can do all the activities together. That is a lesson in Curipod. Now, what is a customizable lesson? A customizable lesson is a series of pre-made lessons made by our curriculum team. And we can scroll through all of them here. We can filter on subjects, on grades. There are so many of them here. We have the full lesson where you paste in a learning standard, and this could be a TEK standard, and it builds a lesson for you. And previously, for those of you who've used Curipod, this was called a generator. We changed the name to customizable lesson because generator made it sound like it was the AI building out the lesson, and it is not. The lessons are built by our expert curriculum team to make them standards aligned, extremely high pedagogical value, but we use AI to customize them, thereby customizable lessons. And I'll show you how this works with a STAAR Prep lesson. So I'll go back into STAAR Prep here. So as you see here in the STAAR Prep, if we go to the RLA section, we have different customizable lessons. We have revision and editing, ECR informational text and composition, SCR reading prep. Let me use this one as an example. So I'll go into the SCR reading prep nonfiction. And here I come into it. I can read a little bit about it. This creates a lesson for SCR reading preparation for nonfiction text. I can see how many times it's been used in a classroom. Let's read about it. Practice SCR reading with nonfiction passages for STAAR test. And then you can see here that how can this be customized? So I can give it my own topic and a reading or writing standard for it to cover. So I want my students to be practicing. So for this lesson, I'll use 510A, explain the author's purpose and message with the text. And then I want to select a topic. And the topic can be also a standard. You can choose a standard from another subject, like a social studies standard or a science standard, if you want to make it cross-curricular. But you can also choose one of the students' interests, like let's do Super Bowl. And then when I'm ready to customize it, I'll click Customize Now. Okay, here is build our lesson. So we see from the top here that I can go directly and present it, or I can edit it, or I can just scroll down here to see how it works. So when I scroll down here, I will see that I see every slide. I can see if it's a content slide or an activity slide. We can read through it. And if I wanted to use it directly, I would click Present. What I want to do now is I want to click Edit. So as you see, when I clicked Edit, we got it into the Curipod editor. So you can change all the text here. You can add more elements. You can add more slides if you want to. You can build this out as your own lesson. But I really recommend using them as they are made as well, because they're really great. But I really recommend just using it as it is. It's a great lesson. So let's walk through it. So slide 1 here, we see has some text. Slide 2 is an instruction to you as a teacher how to use this. And then we move into more content here, and then we get the text for the student to read. And it's of course not that readable on this slide, but the students will be able to access it from their own device when you start the lesson. And if you want them to read it on something else that are on their device, you can of course either just copy out the text and send it to them directly through your learning management system like Google Classroom. You can also click share and print it as a PDF here. But in the next part of the video, I will also show you how the students will access this while you're doing the Curipod lesson. And then we start with some activities. You see that there are activities because if it's just a plain content slide, it says slide. And if an activity, it says like a drawing, open question, and we have AI feedback coming up here. Okay, so the first activity, it's kind of a warm-up activity. What was something interested you noticed in the text, and it's for the students to draw. And this is built up so the students can warm up a bit, starting reflecting a bit around the text. And then we have another open question here, but then we come into the real activity, which is the AI feedback activity. What message is the author conveying about the Super Bowl? So this refers to the text the students are reading here, and it is a great way for them to start practicing, and they will get AI feedback. And that's what I'm going to show you in my next video, is how this all works. And in this activity, the students will get feedback from AI on their answer. And if we scroll down here and click Edit Activity, we can click Customize. And if you see here, this is the rubric we are using to give feedback in Curipod. And if you read through all of this here, you will see that it refers to the text, and then it's using the STAAR rubric to give feedback. The only thing we've changed in Curipod is that we've changed the prompting to make this feedback a bit more student-friendly, easier to read, a bit more polite than it would without any changes. But it will score them exactly as they would be scored by the AI grading the STAAR tests. So in my next video, I will show you how this lesson works in a classroom. If we move on to activity 9, we see that it's the same activity, but they get to try again. And that's all about getting your feedback and then trying to improve. So in my next video, I will go through all of this, both from the teacher point of view and the student point of view, trying to do the lesson together with you.